Yo, you clicked on this video for a reason. You heard Jaguar Wright is going nuclear on Diddy's so-called documentary, The Reckoning, and trust me, she's not holding anything back. She's exposing footage Netflix refused to show, naming names, and revealing what 50 Cent's real agenda might actually be. And honestly, this isn't just about a documentary. This is decades of hidden industry secrets finally coming to light. By the end of this video, you're going to know what got cut, why major players barely got a mention, and why Jaguar is livid. Stick around, because what you're about to hear might completely change how you see all of this.
What do you think about that? Look at what happened from that. See, and this is why this documentary is I'm not calling it a documentary, I'm calling it a mockumentary. That's what I call it.
No, that's Spinal Tap.
I call it a mockumentary. I feel like this whole thing is mocking me. That's how I feel. It's wild. But go ahead.
Was there anything at all that you were watching this documentary that was new information to you?
New?
Yes.
No.
From the history of Puff, him coming up, anything new?
No, there was nothing new for me. There was nothing new for me. The only thing that was new was what was coming forward that had never come forward before. Kirk Burroughs finally admitting out loud that he had been essayed by Diddy.
First, let's talk about what Netflix left on the cutting room floor. Jaguar has footage interviews, behind-the-scenes moments, and conversations that were labeled too controversial to air. And when you think about it, if it's too controversial for a documentary about a man convicted of serious charges, what does that tell you? Gene Deal, Diddy's former bodyguard, was supposed to be a major part of this documentary. He saw everything: the parties, the business deals, even the street stuff. But disagreements over payment and creative control meant his interviews never made it. Jaguar's own contributions? Scrapped, not because they weren't explosive enough, but because they threatened the carefully curated story that Netflix and 50 Cent wanted to tell.
It don't even make sense. I want to put her on blast because she was telling me, she was saying to me that what I was asking for was crazy and they wasn't spending money like that. I'm talking about, you got footage, you got clothing, I was doing footage, I had pictures, all the stuff that I had, you could figure out a way to pay a brother and stuff like that. And then I was telling her about some prices that I've already received, and I had the invoices to show it. And then she was calling me like I was lying. I'm like, yo, who do you think you talking to? You know what I'm saying? And she was talking about, there's no way nobody paid. Nobody what? I say, first of all you people come with these documentaries and stuff, the first thing you tell me, y'all tell these people out here that y'all don't pay, and y'all pay. If you can make a picture look like $10,000, $15,000, you know what I'm saying? You can sit here and tell me that you're gonna pay me for my time sitting right down here with y'all. You understand? So then, one thing led to another, and I was like, all right, well then, F you, I spoke to 50, and then she said 50, and this is exact words that came out her mouth. 50 does not determine what goes in and goes out of this documentary.
Here's where it gets interesting. Jay-Z, Clive Davis, and other big industry figures barely mentioned. Jay-Z maybe got one or two passing references. Clive Davis, about 35 seconds. A man who owned a majority stake in Bad Boy Records gets almost no screen time. Why? Jaguar calls it the victim-making machine, a system where the powerful protect themselves while everyone else gets exposed. Jaguar even called this documentary a mockumentary. She said it mocks your intelligence. About 80% of what's shown, stuff she's been saying publicly for years. But what's missing? What's been watered down to protect people who shouldn't be protected? And that's what really sets her off.
Documentary. Yeah, he was there for so much of it. Because right after the diddler beat the crap out of Steve Stout, the Jigger Man poked up on Rivera. Not long after that. All of this stuff happened around the same time.
Why do you think Jay-Z wasn't involved in none of this?
Well, I mean, he was involved in a lot of it. You mean, why wasn't he mentioned?
Yeah, mentioned in the documentary at all.
I mean, there was a lot of people that weren't mentioned. Matter of fact, not too many people in the industry were mentioned who were there and present. Isn't that cute?
Very true.
They found a way to tell that story while they kept everybody else clean.
Now, let's talk about Kim Porter. Jaguar says she wasn't represented at all. Kim, Diddy's former partner and mother of his children, died under mysterious circumstances in 2018. She should have been central to the story, but instead, others spoke for her like Kina Harper. Jaguar watched Kina's interviews and called them pitiful, not because she was lying, but because she couldn't speak freely. At the time of filming, Kina was fighting a custody battle and married to one of Diddy's top loyalists. Every word she spoke could have jeopardized her kids. So naturally, she held back. Yet Netflix painted it like her testimony was emotional and pitiful. Jaguar isn't having it. She's saying the story of Diddy's impact on those closest to him was intentionally censored.
Who's the worst celebrity like that you've been around is like the most full of sin? I know no sin is greater, but like just was like, damn, this
Clive Davis.
Whoa.
Devil incarnate. Clive Davis. He Janis Joplin. He blackmailed Betty Wright so she wouldn't tell anybody that he Janis Joplin. He killed Whitney Houston.
And Stevie J, someone living in Diddy's Star Island house during key events, completely removed from the story. Lil Rod shared footage with the production that never made it into the trial or the documentary. Allegedly, there's even footage of him with French Montana and Diddy on a yacht, but none of it aired. Jaguar believes this was intentional, a surgical removal to protect certain figures. It's not just oversight. This was a deliberate choice. And once you realize that, the pattern becomes clear: protect the powerful, silence the witnesses, and control the narrative.
That was interesting to watch, you don't think? Kalima's testimony? She was probably the most pitiful witness they brought up to speak about all of this in the entire thing. Kalima?
Wait, why you say that? She was emotional. She was
emotional? That's what you call it?
That's what I'm trying to call it.
Capricorn Clark was emotional. I'll give her emotion. I'm sitting there looking at someone, in my opinion, who appears to be struggling with a substance issue, trying not to fall apart on camera. Meanwhile, nobody paying attention to the fact that she's sitting there afraid to really say anything at all because she's in the middle of a custody battle.
Jaguar also calls out the documentary for failing to address key tragedies. Anthony Wolf Jones, another bad boy associate, murdered. Janis Joplin, Whitney Houston, Clive Davis allegedly involved in multiple deaths. Jaguar doesn't sugarcoat her words. She called Davis the devil incarnate. Whether you believe it or not, the documentary barely touched these stories. So why omit them? Because talking about these names opens up a web of connections, a power structure nobody wants exposed. Jaguar is pointing out a systemic cover-up that spans decades.
What are your thoughts as far as how they portrayed Kim Porter with this Reckoning documentary?
They didn't portray her at all.
Yeah, they didn't.
That's the thing. They didn't portray her at all. She was spoken for by Kalima. That was interesting to watch, you don't think? Kalima's testimony? She was probably the most pitiful witness they brought up to speak about all of this in the entire thing. Kalima?
Wait, why you say that? She was emotional. She was
emotional? That's what you call it?
That's what I'm trying to call it.
Capricorn Clark was emotional. I'll give her emotion. I'm sitting there looking at someone, in my opinion, who appears to be struggling with a substance issue, trying not to fall apart on camera. Meanwhile, nobody paying attention to the fact that she's sitting there afraid to really say anything at all because she's in the middle of a custody battle and she's trying to get her kids back. And she's got to be careful of whatever she says because it could make it impossible for her to get her kids back. Did nobody pay attention to that?
Yeah, no, she said she wanted $5K from Diddy.
She wanted $5K from her former bandmate and a billionaire. And he wouldn't even give her $5K to help her get her kids back? Why not? But then again, nobody's talking about who her husband is and who her husband is to Diddy. He's one of Diddy's #1 minions.
Oh yeah, no, that's news.
He's a loyalist. He is a Diddy do-wop-bop. Kalina's also bisexual, so I'm finding it kind of interesting that she didn't see anything, she wasn't around anything, she didn't know about anything, and this is not me putting anything crazy on her. This is exactly what she said when she was on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta with Stevie J, who was also not mentioned at all during this documentary. Because Stevie J was living at the Star Island house. Tell me something, how do you have all of that stuff about Little Rod and there's no Stevie J? Now, it was really interesting because there was some of the footage that Little Rod has shared with this documentary that he shared with nobody else that he did an interview with, and none of that made it into the trial. There's images of him with French Montana and the Diddler on the yacht.
Yeah.
But nothing of Stevie J, surgically removed.
Now, here's where things get really uncomfortable. Jaguar claims there's footage of Diddy allegedly interacting with Justin Bieber, cut from the final documentary. According to her, Usher gave Diddy temporary guardianship of Bieber for 48 hours, a minor who had already been hospitalized for undisclosed reasons. Jaguar asks the hard questions. Does that sound like someone protecting a kid or someone with questionable motives? Including this footage could open a Pandora's box of legal and reputational issues for major players. So naturally, it didn't air.
Documentary, they left a whole lot of key things out. If they was gonna do something and they're gonna say in the reckoning of Sean Combs, the reckoning, or Diddy, the reckoning and stuff like that, it should have been a lot of people that we lost because of him. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't only Big, it wasn't only Tupac, you understand? For the atmosphere that he put those kids in, you got a guy named Anthony Wolf Jones, who was from Bad Boy, from its conception as doing security and being one of the financiers of Puff having to have some money to keep Big and Craig Mack around before he got to Clyde Davis.
And Jaguar doesn't stop there. She believes 50 Cent isn't making this documentary to help victims. He's trying to move Diddy and Jay-Z out of the way so he can assert control over the industry himself. Not to expose truth, not to change things. Just another kind of monster, she says. Think about it. 50 and Diddy have been beefing for over 20 years. Now, suddenly, 50 is the champion of accountability? Jaguar isn't buying it, and she isn't afraid to say so.
You want to know why there is no vindication for me? Because for 4 years, I've been screaming, not just Diddy, but Diddy and Jay-Z are monsters. And the victim-making machine kept going on.
Jay-Z has been notable by his silence since these charges were brought against Diddy. Why do you think that is?
Because that's what he does. He starts little fires everywhere, forces everyone involved to go and carry water while he sneaks away out a response. That change is now shown.
Jaguar even threatens to expose 50 for allegedly toxic waste dumping around his Millennium Studios property in Shreveport. She says she has proof. Her message is clear: better do right by Shreveport, or I'm letting everyone know you're not innocent either. This isn't just chatter. Jaguar has been observing, documenting, and preparing to release evidence. She's done playing nice.
He'd been trying to get to Bieber for a minute, and his management was backing him off. But it wasn't until Usher took over management and had guardianship and gave temporary guardianship to the Diddler for 48 hours. Think about that. He had already been to the hospital. That situation that Gene was talking about. And you still took Bieber there, but you got custody of him first.
She's been talking about Diddy's behavior at parties for years. Money, cameras, freak offs, and the controlled environment, these weren't surprises. Everyone knew. But now that Diddy's been convicted, people act shocked. She points out the industry picks which monsters are acceptable at a given time. R. Kelly before, Diddy now. And Jay-Z is next, she says.
Sid is trying to take down Diddy.
No, he's trying to move Diddy and Jay-Z out the way so he can run it. And the truth is, I ain't mad at him. I just don't trust him. Because the truth is, he would just be another kind of monster in another kind of way. He don't want things to change. He just want to be the one that's running it. See? Easiest thing to do is to take your enemy's feet and hold them to the fire for things you know that they won't admit. Which is why when that C&D came out, he took all of that Diddy shit down because of his tape. See? What is it with all of these pretenders? And now they got an even bigger one named Curtis Jackson.
Here's the big takeaway. The Netflix documentary is just the tip of the iceberg. What Jaguar has footage, evidence, testimonies hasn't even started to surface. This isn't just about one documentary. It's about accountability across decades, exposing a system where the rich and powerful protect themselves while victims are silenced. And now, Jaguar is ready. More names, more footage, more evidence. She's done staying silent. She's done letting people control the narrative.
Ever been to a P. Diddy party?
Yeah, many, honestly.
And so, can you take us through like what goes on, like when you were there?
Money
Right.
and sex.
Were you surprised that there were so many cameras in his houses?
No!
So let me ask you, when you hear that Cassie was told to hire male escorts to come in what they call freak-offs now,
Yeah.
is that something normal that
Yeah.
happens in Hollywood?
Yeah.
Freak-offs.
Hey, everybody know that. I've been saying it.
So why does Puffy, why now? Why?
Because he's the acceptable monster at this time. Like R. Kelly was the last time I sat on this couch.
So, what do you think? Is Jaguar right? Is 50 Cent really the hero? Or is he just another player trying to run the show? Who else should be exposed? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. And I want to hear your perspective, because one thing's for sure, the real reckoning isn't over. And once it starts, no one will be able to look away.